Hey, hey, hey. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. This is class number 3 of the Girlfriend Experience Classroom, and we are live. We are in full effect. Let's go. It's time to learn. It's time to level up. It's time to get ourselves together. It's time for me to scoot my seat up. I'm trying to adjust. I'm trying to make sure that y'all can see me good, hear me good, and that this whole experience is good. So, welcome again to the Girlfriend Experience Classroom. This particular class I have labeled the blueprint, how to make a blueprint for the new you, for your new life, or where it is that you're going, where it is that you see yourself, where it is that you want to be. So let's first get this out the way. If you're watching me and you haven't subscribed, then you know you're wrong. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, okay? And hit the like button. Send this video out, share it, and just by liking it, sends it out, to more people on the web and everything, so everyone can get this knowledge. So don't you want to share? That's right, sharing is caring. So hit the notification bell also so that you can be notified every time I make a video. I make other videos of how-tos and just other inspiring videos for you to become your best self and get your life together besides these classes, okay? So you don't want to miss out on any of it, okay? So I hope you've got your water, okay? These times are times for hydration and making sure that your health is in order and everything. So I'm trying to stay hydrated. I'm trying to stay moisturized on the inside and the outside. So make sure that you have all of that with you. So just like the last 2 classes, I want to start with a few words to remind you who you are. And if you don't feel this way, this is a reminder of the mindset that you need to be in, that you need to get in for this class. You are, and some of you already know this because you've been watching, you are optimistic, fiery, confident, courageous, focused, and powerful. One more time. You are optimistic, fiery, confident, courageous, focused, and powerful. I want you to really embody those words. I want you to really feel those words. And that's what this class is all about today, is really embodying the new person who you're going to be. So, of course, I'd like to start with a little bit of a recap with what we've been doing so far in class. This is class number 3. How are you guys doing? Please comment below and let me know, did you do your homework? How are you feeling? Are you feeling inspired? Are you feeling low? Are you feeling high? Let me know what's going on. Make sure you comment below, okay? So let's go over a little bit what we've been talking about. You guys know I have my notebook and everything. Can't expect any of this to be all on the top of my head. But we just really talked about being a phoenix, right? We talked about transforming your life. We talked about the mythical bird, the phoenix, that, died in, a burst of flames and then rose alive again from its very own ashes. So this really is a rebirth, and not just any rebirth. This is a rebirth of your own doing. This is a rebirth by your design, okay? And so for that first class, the homework that I gave was for you to spend time alone, purposefully to recharge, okay? Not just spend time alone just to be alone, but to have a purpose about spending time alone. Then I tasked you to release blame from any situation, release blame from any person that you were holding on to, especially if that person happened to be yourself, which I said to release shame. Okay. These are things that you should have been working on over this last week. And I know that it is not something that is going to be 1, 2, 3 that you can just instantly do. And it might take you longer than a week to make some of these things happen. But to have this in your brain and to have this support system and to have this guidance is really going to be helpful for you to get there, no matter how long it takes you. You may have to watch these videos a couple of times. You may have to have it sink in. You may get to class 5 and have an aha moment from class 1. Okay? So give yourself time. Be kind to yourself. And the last bit of the homework was that you needed to decide what you want, because you can't get where you want to be if you have no idea what it is that you want out of life. So that was the homework assignment that I gave. Please comment below and let me know how you did on that, because I'm very curious, and if it made a difference in your life, and if you were able to really get somewhere with it. Y'all, thank y'all for bearing with me through my water breaks. Okay. So then the next class number 2, I kind of helped you with that. And we talked about, releasing negative thoughts and creative visualization. We talked about being a reality architect. We said that you can choose to live a life where life happens to you, or you can live a life where life comes from you. And so what a vantage point, like what a great position to be in, where you are specifically creating the life that you want. Okay. So in order to help you with that homework, I said that you needed to kind of define your goal, define the end result. What did it look like where you wanted to be, and picture it clearly and visually, vividly in your mind. Remember, again, we talked about being a reality architect, really, going through this in your mind. So as you can see, we're going through these steps where we're doing the building blocks of what needs to happen in order for you to become this different self that you want to be. And so we have to plan it first. We have to get there first. And we have to shift our mindset in order to get to that new place that we want to be. So last class, we talked about being a reality architect, and that really feeds right into this class when we talk about creating the blueprint. We have to have everything all mapped out, the vision built, mapped out in our minds, and then on paper, out loud, so that those visions can be created, so that we can make that building. Okay. So again, in order to do that, you were tasked to define your goal or your end result. Okay. Picture it clearly and vividly in your mind, because you have got to be able to see it. Your brain only knows what you tell it, right? So if you tell your brain what you want to see, if you tell your brain how you want things to be, then that is what your brain will look for. We talked about seeing, identifying, and relating to things. Remember, we talked about getting that new car or something, and then all of a sudden you see, one that's on your same block that looks exactly like yours. This is because your brain is constantly trying to make connections. Okay. This is how the memory works. This is how it puts the pieces together, because it's saying, oh, I've seen that before. Your brain is basically playing a match game. Okay. So if you're down and out, if you're broke and tired, your brain is going to search for broke and tired, because that is what it's familiar. It's playing a match game. Okay. So you want to give it a new match game to play, which is why it's important for you to picture this so vividly and clearly in your mind. Imagine yourself in the picture. Do not separate yourself from that thing. Become that thing. You are that thing. And the last thing I gave you, the last tidbit I gave you, was to capture the feeling that you would experience if that particular goal was already accomplished. How would you feel? How would you feel inside of your body? And today we're going to go a step further with how would you act? How would you behave? How would your habits change? Okay? How would your everyday change? Okay? So the final thing that I left you with last class was, that in order to really make this happen, that you need to be unrealistic. That the statistics were really against you for being great. Okay. Most people can't be great. Okay. And so you have to be a little bit unrealistic in your plans and dreams in order to make some awesome things really come true. Because, the average person, is struggling and juggling. Okay. So you don't want to be the average person. You are here to be great. So this is going to take you to step outside of your box a little bit. And I hope you had the time to do that homework. And if you didn't, it's okay. You can still do that homework. It's okay for you to start now and go back and say, well, who am I? Before I got influenced by people, when I was a little kid, what did I want to do? What did I like best? Who am I? And then create your goal from there. So today we're going to take it a step further, because you really need to get to a place where you are forging ahead, where you are rowing on that boat, trying to make it to land. Okay. The end of your difficult times is over. It's time to make that transition. So this is what I know that is happening for a lot of you right now. You're getting a little bit angry. You're getting a little bit frustrated. You're stuck in a rut. This type of thing always happens in the beginning of a class. Okay, this all or the beginning of any experience. Everybody wants to see results immediately, right away, but you have to stay the course. Okay, think about anybody who has overcome any adversity. Think about anybody who has accomplished any goal. They stayed the course. Okay, you have to let this run, and you can't be afraid to try something new. I actually got a fortune cookie over the weekend that told me that I need to try something new. And really, we all need to be trying something new all the time. And what holds us back a lot of times from trying something new is our fear. We think of the worst that could happen, but it's really time for us to flip our mindset and think of what is the best that can happen. Okay. So this is really, this is all about your mindset. This is, everywhere that you are mentally is where you will end up physically. You have got to understand, you have got to get it sunk in your head that everything that is going on, you create. Okay. And once you do that, you will be able to row your own boat forward. Okay. Without saying, oh, this is the water's fault that I'm going this way. You can't just sit there and drift. You can't just sit there and drift and just let the boat take you where the boat takes you. Okay? You have got to grab that oar and you've got to steer the boat. Okay? So that is what this is all about. Now, speaking of steering the boat, if you don't know where you're going, that is going to be a huge problem, because you're going to end up in the middle of nowhere. Okay? So, no plan equals a plan to fail. I'll say that again. No plan equals a plan to fail. Okay. This is why we're working on the blueprint. This is why, you have to lay out where you're going. Okay. If you get in a car and you start driving aimlessly, eventually you're going to run out of gas and you will never get to your destination. You know why? Because you haven't decided on a destination. Okay. You had to decide, oh, I'm going to the grocery store. Okay. To know how to get there. Okay. You have to decide, oh, I'm going to my mom's house, or I'm going to work. Okay. If you don't have that end goal, you're going to be driving aimlessly and then you're going to run out of gas. That is a metaphor. Okay. So let that sink into your brain. Driving aimlessly all around. Just think about that. And then completely running out of gas. And then what? Okay. When you could have been to your goal 10 times over and over again if you would have made the plan and stayed the course. Boom. Okay. So driving a car without a destination is a no-no. Okay. No plan equals a plan to fail. So with that being said, I have got to remind you that you cannot skip steps. Okay. Let's go back to the car example again. Let's say From point A to point B, you have to go through these turns in these certain streets, okay? Now, remember I told you, there's multiple ways that you can do things. Remember, I believe the first video we talked about Dr. Grant and Zora Neale Hurston in the interview with that. We talked about there being more than one way to do a certain thing. So, of course, there's going to be multiple ways and multiple streets that you can go down in order to get to your final destination. But you cannot skip any of the steps on that route, okay? And that is a metaphor for life. Those steps are going to help you when you get to the end, okay? Because when you get to that goal, you're going to have to know what you're doing. You're going to have that foundation, okay? If you don't have the foundation that was built from the steps on the way, then your building that you've built is going to crumble, okay? So let's just dive into this a little bit deeper, because I know what I would be thinking if I were you. Okay, let's stop talking metaphorically and everything. I'm done with all the metaphors. That's cute and everything. But let's just be realistic. I know some of you have your plates full, okay? And your table's full too, and just everything else. But a plan will work for you too, okay? And I'm going to tell you how. When you make a plan, you're going to put multiple steps in that plan. Remember how I was saying don't skip the steps. If you are leading the life that I know you can lead, you're going to have goal after goal after goal. Okay, so this list will grow and grow. But just to begin with, you've got to have multiple steps in your plan, because a plan will help you to feel progress. Okay? This is the most important thing that you're going to have to remember. This will help you to stay the course. Remember, I talked about staying the course. Stay in the game. Stay in the fight. You can't win the battle if you don't fight. Okay? So let's just think of something simple. Okay? A plan. Let's just say you want to save $1,000, but $1,000 seems so steep, it seems so expensive, it seems so out of range that you give up because you're like, well, I don't make enough. Well, I can't do it. Well, I ain't got no extra money. I ain't got $1,000 just laying around. I know what you're saying, okay? But you have to break it down in pieces so that you can feel a sense of accomplishment getting to that goal. You have to say, I'm going to put back $100 a month. You can break it down even further. I'm going to put down $50 per pay. I'm going to take out $25 per week. Instead of eating that pizza, I'm going to put that in savings. So every 2 weeks, I'm going to put the amount that I would have eaten in pizza, or that I would have put in cigarettes, or that I would have bought in weed, or that I would have bought in hair, or that I would have bought in outside food instead of cooking my own, okay? Or that I would have bought in jewelry, that I would have bought in new clothes. I'm going to take that amount and I am going to start saving that. Little by little, you start accomplishing those goals, right? Now, you have to celebrate every small goal. You have to consider them little baby goals as well. So if you're trying to get to that $1,000, that example that we were using, you need to celebrate at 100. You need to celebrate at 200. You get what I'm saying? 500, 600, 700. You need to celebrate all those little baby steps in between. So when you make your plan, keep this in mind, because remember, this is your plan. This is not my plan. So I don't know what you're going to have on your plan. I don't know what your heart's desire is. But when you have this plan, you're going to have to create the baby steps in between? What is my ultimate goal? Okay, what is it going to take me to get there? Okay? And then just start checking those things off of the list and feeling that sense of accomplishment from doing that thing. Okay? So think of your ultimate goal, right? What is my ultimate goal? Okay, let's think. I want to be a nurse. What's holding me back from that ultimate goal? I need the education. Okay, so you're kind of going backwards. Okay, what's holding you back from having that education? I don't have the money. What's holding you back from getting the money? I don't have the time. What's holding you back from having the time? I need a babysitter for my kids. You see what I'm saying? So by going to your goal and then working your way backwards, working your way down, you get to the root of it. You get to the beginning. You get to the baby step of it, and you get to say, I don't need to worry about becoming a nurse right now. I need to worry about getting a stable babysitter right now. That's my way out. That's the beginning of this plan right here. Then once I get a stable babysitter, then I can do the things I need to do to hustle up the extra money I need, or to apply for that federal aid or those grants or those loans or whatever it is that I need. Then once I do that, I'll be able to schedule my classes and get that education and everything. And meanwhile, I've built up some knowledge of how to do this. And meanwhile, I've got a reliable babysitter that I can now count on while I'm now going to these classes, because this is a step that I took in the beginning. Okay? So it's very important to work your way down like that, so that you can, really take it in small chunks. And like I said, you have to celebrate that goal. Woo! I got me a babysitter. I got me a babysitter. Okay? Congratulations. You've done step one. You've accomplished a goal. You must consider that a goal, because it is on your path to being who it is that you want to be, to leveling up in your life, to finally seeing those flowers bloom that you've been watering and watering and watering and watering and watering, to become the queen that you are for your garden, to finally be fertile and full. But guess what? You're going to have to make the luck. It's not going to come on its own. It's not, even though it might be divinely inspired, it might come from the sky, but it's not going to drop out of the sky. Okay? You have to create it. And when you get in that mindset of gratitude, let me tell you how powerful gratitude is. That'll be something else that we have to talk about in another class. But when you get in that mode of appreciation, of being thankful, okay, for what you have and the progress you've made, that is when your life will really flip and change. All right? When you start paying attention to the little finite details and the little sparks that make you happy throughout the day, and the little goals that you've accomplished on your checklist, you will start to be a happier person. Your mood will change, your mindset will change, your whole life will change, your whole energy will change. Everything you're reverberating out to the world is going to change. Okay? And I want you to really dive in, okay, to the lessons and everything from this class in particular, because this is really a pivotal point. You are going to put these wheels in motion. You are going to send this order out to the universe. Remember, I talked about putting in your order. Remember, I talked about summoning a power that's higher than yourself, placing an order, putting in a formal request with your superior. Okay, this is where you're really solidifying it, where you're really writing it down, where you're really talking to yourself in the mirror, where you're really saying, this is what I want, and this is what I have to do to get there. Because I've made the blueprint. Now I have to follow it. This is giving you no way out. This is giving you no excuses. Okay, because you know what excuses are, right? If you don't, I'm going to tell you. Excuses are tools of the incompetent, which build monuments of nothingness. And those who indulge in such theories are seldom capable of anything else but their excuses, right? So if you just sit around and give excuses or reasons or whatever you want to call them, why you can't accomplish what you want to accomplish, then you might as well stop trying. What are you doing here? Get out of this class. This isn't for you. This class is for the triers. This class is for the doers. This class is for the fall down, skin your knees, and get back up and walk around bleeding. Okay? This is for those people who are going to struggle through it. This is for the people who are going to get it no matter what. Okay? So going back to celebrating the small things, celebrating the small wins. Okay, this is going to help you get in that mood of gratitude. What do they say? Get in the attitude of gratitude. Okay, being thankful for what you have will bring more great things for you, toward you. Remember, I was saying that your brain is constantly trying to find a match. You have to give it that wonderful positive thing, okay, in order for it to find something that is like it. It's like a magnet. It's just looking to put these pieces together to play this match game. And when you're making this blueprint, when you're going backwards and you're saying, I want to be a nurse, I got to get the education, I got to get the money, I got to get the babysitter, okay, you can even break it down even further into your daily habits. And that's really what I want you to do. And this is going to require you to get this down on paper. Okay? Get your dreams out of your head and get them down on paper. Okay? So, this is not a time to be fighting yourself. This is especially not a time to be worrying about what other people are going to think. This is not a time to be, worried about the goals and accomplishments that other people want out of you, because you're not going to be happy. And that is what this is all about. That's what this class is all about. That's what this life is all about, is reaching fulfillment and then sharing. Okay? So it's time for you to kind of step out there. Okay? This may be a little bit scary, but it's time for you to start thinking, well, what if this thing happened for me? What if this thing worked out for me? What if everything turned out great? What if everything went my way? What if everything was amazing? What if I got exactly what I wanted? What if all of a sudden my luck turned out for the better? Because you made that luck. And again, to create that luck, you've got to put it on paper. Get your dreams out of your head and get them on paper. And in order to do that, remember I said you are going to have to make sure you spend that time alone. Okay? Now, spending time alone, I want to dig a little bit deeper into that, say some things that I may not have said last class. It's important for you to be in the world, but not be of the world. So you might have to unplug. You might have to unplug from social media. You might have to turn off the TV or the news. Okay. So you're here, you're a part of the world, but you have to kind of create a bubble in order for you to get into a zone to really maximize your potential and stop listening to the outside chatter until you get your stuff together, until your bubble is strong enough that nothing can penetrate that bubble. You need to stay in that bubble until you work your plan out. Okay? Here's another thing I wanted to say. You know, when I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes. Okay. Another thing that you have to remember to do if you want your justice, if you want to level up in life, if you want the scale to balance out, if the scale's been unweighted so long, if you're ready for the scale to tip in your favor, okay? You've got to say goodbye to the old life. You've got to say goodbye to the old you. You've got to say goodbye to the old. Some of y'all got to say goodbye to the old friends. Some of y'all got to say goodbye to the old man. Some of y'all got to say goodbye to the old woman. You know, some of y'all got to say goodbye to your old body. Some of y'all got to say goodbye to your old self. You know, some of y'all got to swift, cut it off, rip off the band-aid. Some of y'all got to drop relationships. Some of y'all got to drop certain foods. See, I'm a firm believer that the vast majority of us already know what it is that we need to do and what it is that we're not doing. We already know. We already know we're not eating right. We already know that we're not exercising enough. We already know that we want to be a writer, but we haven't written in months. We already know that we need to, read a book at night instead of watching TV at night. We already know that we need to moisturize our hair. We already know that, we need to brush our teeth after every meal or whatever. Whatever it is that you're not doing and the problems that you're experiencing, we already know that we need to drink more water. We already know, but we're not doing. So what's holding you back from doing? What's holding you back? What are those excuses? Part of it is what you're surrounding yourself with and who you're surrounding with. So you have to be willing to completely give up that old life and maybe give up those old thoughts. Because remember, I said you may have to give up the old you. Give up seeing yourself in a particular way that you thought you saw yourself. Some of you, in order to accomplish your goals, you're going to have to move to a new city or state. You're going to have to make a bold move. You're going to have to leap. You're going to have to jump out there. Some of you, in order to accomplish your dreams and goals, you're going to have to break up with somebody, or you're going to have to make up with somebody. Some of you are going to have to get a divorce. Some of you are going to have to lose weight. Some of you are going to have to get a better education. Some of you are going to have to brushing up, sharpen up your skills. Some of you think you're better than you are. How are you going to be an admin and you don't know how to type over there henpecking? But you want to be an executive assistant? No, honey, no. That's not how it works. You're going to have to be honest with yourself. Don't be mean to yourself. Be kind to yourself, but be honest with yourself and look in that mirror and face what you're fearing and be brave enough to do that thing anyway. To do that thing. Remember, I said, when you decide what it is that you want, I can't remember if I said this first class or second class or whatever, but when you decide what it is that you want, you have to also decide that you are willing to put up with whatever comes along with that thing, or you are willing to work around whatever comes along with that thing, but there's an acceptance of, well, gosh, if I say I need to lose 30 pounds, I have to accept that I'm not going to feel like working out, and I have to accept that I'm going to get tired of salad, but I'm going to do that thing anyway. That's what you have to decide. Okay? Remember, we talked about that. Okay? So I wrote down, recognize, and this is going back to what comes along with that thing. You know, I want this thing, and I also am willing to accept what comes along with it. What am I going to do about it? So I wrote down, recognize that your full plan could take years, and be okay with that. I'm going to give you a moment to let that sink in. Your plan, you turn that label around. This is not sponsored. Who am I? Your plan could take years, several years. Okay? Your full plan. But you have to be okay with that. Be okay with it. One of my favorite terms to say, to remind myself, is short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. You are making a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. Okay? You have to sacrifice for 3 years in order to get 20 years of awesomeness. If somebody told you that, would you do it? If somebody said you're going to have to grind for 3 years, and in exchange, I'll give you 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 more years of awesomeness just for 3 years in exchange, just for 3 little years in exchange, would you do it? I will give you, look, I'll give you $20 million if you hustle hard and make no excuses and be happy in life and deal with what you got for 3 years and keep churning and churning and churning and churning and churning and churning for 3 years. Would you do it? Yes, you would. So let's go. Let's go, because that guarantee is on the other side. Okay? You have to be okay with the fact that your plan might take you 5 years, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to fully accomplish. And that is why it's so important to create those baby steps in between, to feel that sense of accomplishment, because that is what success really is. Those steps. The success is in the steps. You don't want to rush to the top and get to the top and get all bored and dang, everything is all done. Everything is already done. Where's the fun? You know what I'm saying? Where's the life? Where's the fun? Where did everything go? Enjoy those steps. That's what you have to do. Create those mini steps. Create those day-to-day tasks. Well, what can I do today that's going to be good for my week? Well, what can I do this week that's going to be good for the month? What can I do for this month that's going to be good for this quarter? If you don't know what a quarter is, a 3-month period. Think of quarter. 4 quarters equal $1. Okay, so 4 quarters make the whole of the year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 9, 12. So what can I do this 1 month for the quarter? Okay, what can I do this quarter that's going to make my year? What can I do this year that's going to make my next 3? What can I do over the next 3 years that's going to make my next 20? Okay, you have to break it down like that and think of those steps. What can I do? You're in this class right now. What can I do right now to make my time more worthwhile? What can I do to make sure that my time, my hour I spent in this class was worth it? And especially if you're like me, because I'm a mother. Okay. And so I could be, this is how I kind of strategize things around the house. I might put a load of laundry in first. While that laundry is going, I'll come in the kitchen and start doing the dishes, okay? Or cooking. And then while I'm doing that dishes or that cooking, I'll put on a YouTube video, maybe a TED Talk or something educational to expand my mind. So now I got 3 things going on at once. I'm washing the clothes, I'm washing the dishes, and I'm expanding my mind. How can you maximize your time? How can you make it all worthwhile? How can you just blend this together to make the perfect little blueprint that's just right for you? Okay? So you cannot try to get to the end at the beginning. You can't. You cannot try to finish on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 10. You can't. You have to enjoy the little steps in between. Okay? You have to take it off bite by bite, chunk by chunk. Okay? It's so important, though, for you to really get in this mindset. Not being in the right mindset will cause you to not make the right blueprint and will sabotage your path, your goal. So I didn't say that for you to get overwhelmed, like, oh my goodness, what if I'm not in the right mindset right now because I'm just coming out of pain. I'm just coming out of a situation. I don't know if my mind is clear enough to work on that blueprint. Work on it anyway. Okay. And then over time, as you change, you can go back with an eraser, redo it, and make edits. Okay. You are a work in progress. Okay. And you have to remember that as you grow, your dreams and goals will grow, and what you think is possible to accomplish will grow. And this is why everything will start to completely change for you. Okay. So you have got to get in this mindset, okay, of who you are and what you want to be, and write that goal down, move backward with the steps. And it's also okay if you're not 100% sure what that end goal down the road is. Your goal does not have to be 10 years, 5 years in the future. Your goal could be a month from now. Okay. You could have baby steps like that. You could say, my goal is to be sober for 30 days. That's a short amount of time. And you'll have to start with a 1 day. But I want you to embody that person that is sober. I want you to embody that nurse. Whether you are that thing or not, whether you have reached that goal or not. See, this is a part of getting you on those steps. You cannot separate yourself from that time frame. You cannot separate yourself from that person. You can't separate yourself from that nurse that you want to be. You can't separate yourself from that sober person that you want to be. What would I be doing right now if I was sober? Well, I might be drinking water instead of alcohol. What would I be doing right now if I was a nurse? I may be studying some medical information, or who knows, I could be, I like to sew also. I probably would be creating, scrubs and uniforms or whatever for my fellow nurses or whatever. Whatever it is that's in your mind, you have to embody that person. What time does that person get up in the morning? Does that person exercise? What type of food does that person eat that you want to be? How does that person groom themselves? How does that person's hair or makeup or nails or skin look? Does that person go to the gym every day? Does that person call their mom every day? Does that person read a book for 15 minutes every night? What does that person do? What are those habits that person does? See, a lot of people get it confused when they're told to embody this person. They think, oh, I want to be a millionaire, so I'm going to go out and get an expensive car that I can't afford. No. You have to embody the habits, the feeling, the being, become the person that you want to be, and think, what would they be doing right now? What would they be watching on TV? What would they be, thinking? What kind of ideas would they be thinking of? What would interest them? What kind of books would they read? What would they be doing on the weekends? This person that I want to be you know and then you have to start doing those things. You have to embody those things. You have to become that self. You have to be the new. You have to be it. You have to walk away from things that don't serve you. You have to totally commit to being the new you. Let that sink in. What would it look like to totally commit to the new you? What would it feel like to totally commit to the new you? Who would you be? What would you wear? What would you say? What kind of language would you let come out of your mouth? What types of conversations would you be having? Who are you? Who is the new you? Be that person right now, today, starting from this moment. So that is your homework, actually. That is your homework. Okay? That's it. I wrote that down right there. Become the person you want to be. Embody their habits. That is your homework. Okay? And I want to know. I want you to comment below. Let me know. What did you think of what I said? What resonated with you? What didn't resonate with you? What questions do you have? What do you want to see me talk about more in class? What would you like me to help you with more in class on this process, on this journey that we're going on to become this phoenix? Comment below and tell me, did you embody this person? How did it feel? Did anything new happen? Did anything interesting happen? I want to know what happened. Okay. So we'll work on a little bit more on Thursday. We'll get a little bit deeper. Okay. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video, whether you're here live or whether you are watching the playback. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your comments. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Share this video if you haven't already done so. And join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Girlfriend Experience Classroom to get more of this knowledge, advice and everything that you need to live your best life. I am here for you. Please check me out at thegirlfriendexperience.org for more information. Okay? And until next time, peace and blessings. Comment below. I want to hear from y'all. Let me know what's up. I'm always so excited to do these classes and everything, and to really just be there for us, be there for, people that I know are like me and that are going through different situations and, different things that are not easy in life. And I'll just put it that way. But you've got to have the strength to really just carry on and become this totally new version of yourself. So again, until next time, thank you again for joining me. Check out thegirlfriendexperience.org. Peace and blessings.